Hi everybody, this is me. I'm Anna Heim. I am the cyber consultant at Ares Security Solutions, and it's Tuesday night, it's the 4th of April, and this is Ares Cyber Essentials Live. Hi everybody. Right, well, as usual, sort of like there was no messages left for me this week, so obviously you're all quite happy with the infographics that I keep producing and keep posting for you. Yeah, so it's one of those nights. There have been a few interesting things going on let's see, in the world of cybersecurity. For example, this week a report came across my desk. I've made some notes. A report came across my desk talking about the increase in malware attack following on from 2016. Excuse me, my aloe vera drink is repeating on me. Yes, so it's just an ongoing thing, sort of like since the day the internet was born, or very, very shortly thereafterwards. Malware has been a big problem on the internet, as have sort of like viruses like worms and trojans and so on. But yes, malware threats continue to increase. However, the interesting trend that we've seen a change in is that those who are now most at risk are increasingly small businesses and individuals, more so than the big companies and the big corporations. It's kind of like the other way around, really, for a bit in the early days of the internet. The other thing that was really interesting in this particular report was that whereas we're all getting used to sort of like malware and malware as a service, as a software service and so on, the new danger seems to lie in non-malware attacks, and this is where hackers actually get into what's called the shell of your operating system. And the shell kind of works as a bit of an interface between your operating system and your program. So for example, if you're running a standard PC, sort of like it would be the Windows PowerShell, which would be the way in which people would try to break into your machine to do something nefarious. If it's Apple, although traditionally they say that Apple is a little bit more difficult to break into than a Windows or an Android system, notwithstanding, Apple does use shells in its core interface between the Apple interface, the Apple operating system, and the different applications that you can use on Apple. And another place where sort of like shells are used as an interface, and an interface is kind of like when you switch on sort of like your operating system and your computer and you log on in the morning, and I don't know, for argument's sake, the first thing that you might switch on is your browser. So you go to your little browser icon and you press your browser icon, and in the background, while your hard drive is wearing, it's kind of like the operating system goes, "Hello, who are you?" And the browser program goes, "Hello, it's me, I'm the browser." Sort of like, look at me, sort of like I'm here, I'm in the settings, I'm supposed to be here, I'm the browser. And then the operating system goes, "Oh right, you're the browser, hi, nice to see you, okay, load up." And then the browser loads up, and all of this handshaking and interfacing, as they call it, or as it's called, I should say, it all happens in absolutely fractions of seconds. And you press your button and your browser pops up, or maybe your document generating program, whether it's Word or something else, will turn up, or what else might turn up for you, or it could be an Excel spreadsheet, or it could be a PDF maker, or whatever program it is. All of the programs that you have living on your computer have to do this interfacing thing, which is kind of like a "hello, how are you, this is who I am, this is where I belong, this is what the person wants me to do" type of stuff. And the operating system sort of like checks and goes, "Yes, you're legitimate, yes, I know who you are, oh right, this is what you're going to do, brilliant stuff, let you load." Web servers also have shells on them. You've got two different types of web servers. Some run Linux as the operating system, and they're on a Unix-based server, and they mostly use open source type of programs and applications. It's the same thing. It doesn't matter what your operating system is, what kind of a platform you're on. If you're running programs on something, I mean, even your phone. See, I'm looking at myself, or trying to look at myself. Even your phone, doesn't matter. Apple, Android, there's an operating system and there's apps that run on it. And every single one of these things, every time you switch it on, and that is an app onto the operating system or a program on your computer, there is an interface. And it's kind of like the hello, how are you? This is who I am. This is what I'm going to do next. And the operating system goes, yeah, fine. When people break into your shell, or into the shell, they can basically interfere with the way that the operating system and the apps interface with each other, so that then nefarious processes can happen. Like, say, for example, if somebody was trying to steal all of the information in your Access database, for argument's sake, if they broke into your shell and wrote just one itty bitty little line of code that says every time Access comes on, capture this information and send it over here, that would all be happening in the background while you're still adding new information in. And that's one of the ways in which hackers are able to nefariously steal information from your database without having to do a direct SQL injection. And I'll talk about SQL injections another day if you're interested. Yes, so what else might be nefarious that they could do? Well, if they broke into your browser, and if you save all of your passwords for your different web-based services in your browser, and your browser got broken into using this shell mechanism, then yeah, all of your passwords would be stolen, your credentials would be stolen, and the next thing you know, you'd have people pretending to be you in your services, and maybe posting or publishing things which are completely inappropriate, which are not the sort of things that you would post, that would completely horrify and mortify you, let alone visitors to your site. So that is one of the big things that is coming up. In fact, in a survey of cybersecurity researchers, 93% of them thought that this non-malware attack of systems, whether they be networks, because they're corporate networks or business networks, or web hosting networks, or cloud-based service networks, this shell attack situation seemed to be the big thing that was coming up in the news. Right, now I'm going to scooch me little camera thing over here to the side a bit, because I've got something hidden underneath here that, yes, there it is, it's over there. Right, and where's my mouse gone? My mouse has gone over there. Right, okay, so that was the first bit of news. As I say, if you'd like to know more about these shell attacks and how they may or may not affect you, depending on whether you're using a network or not, what type of network you're using. Essentially anybody who uses Windows, I think, is marginally vulnerable, because these people really don't care. They don't care. They don't care whether you're a big business or an individual, and they are increasingly targeting smaller businesses and individuals, because the thinking is that small businesses and individuals are firstly unaware of the risks and the threats, think that they're not anywhere on the cyber criminals hit list, so to speak. Think they're too small, too insignificant to warrant any kind of concerns. Whereas, you know, I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. The truth of it is that these people don't care. They don't care about, you know, who you are, how big you are, how small you are, whether you're just one person sitting at home on your laptop doing a little bit of shopping on Amazon or eBay. If they can break into your system, whether it's through your phone, through your tablet, through your laptop, through your computer, and through this non-malware attack system through the shells. If they can get in and steal your banking credentials, well, they will. The other thing that came across my desk today, and it is actually brand new, fresh news today. A lot of my news actually comes from the United States. It seems that in the UK, even the UK cybersecurity research publications that I get, a lot of the key research is actually done in the United States. Although I did have a very interesting phone call with a research company that I work with on a fairly regular basis, and they've been following my blogs and having quite in-depth conversations with me about different aspects of cybersecurity and my experience with regards to our clients and my experience with regards to my history and the way that the whole thing has grown through. And they're looking at me to maybe join the primary researching group, which is really, really exciting. But anyway, coming back to a bit of horrifying news, Google has just discovered that there has been, or possibly still is, spyware on Android phones that went undetected. And this type of spyware was really quite interesting because it was quite sophisticated insofar as it remained, it would stay hidden on your phone, and then if for some reason the actual software itself thought that it was about to be detected, it would delete itself from your system. So it's been like really, really hard to track down, really, really hard to chase. It's been dubbed Cryasor type of software. Let me just go here. I'm going to get a little bit more information for you, I should say. Right. The good thing is that in the UK we are unlikely to have been hit by it. However, if you travel to Israel, Georgia, Turkey, Mexico, or the United Arab Emirates, the chances are that your phone, through talking to other people, just using your phone, you could have accidentally been contaminated. As I say, this spyware has been around for 3 years. The general research would suggest that the main people that have been targeted to have their phones contaminated with this spyware have been activists and journalists, so regular business people or holiday makers. Highly unlikely that our phones would have been contaminated in this particular way. But I just thought that, you know, like, wow, it's interesting, and I know that some of you out there that watch me and listen to my blogs or to my live broadcasts do travel around. So if you do travel to places like Georgia, Turkey, Mexico, or the United Arab Emirates, please do be careful, because this Cryasor or Cryasor espionage malware, it's pretty nasty stuff, and it's kind of creepy that it can recognize when maybe your own antivirus on your phone and your own firewalls on your phone are about to sort of like discover it, that it just suddenly kind of like disappears. But in the meantime, because it does uninstall itself, it's very, very hard to know what exact information it may or may not have been stealing. And as I say, that was one of the scary ones for today. So, yeah, so this is me. Those were sort of like two of the biggest stories that came across my desk this week. WikiLeaks has kind of like revealed that the Marble source code that the CIA said was used, that the CIA used to sort of like frame Russia and China. Apparently WikiLeaks has discovered or has released a whole ream of documents for those who are interested in that level of cyber warfare and interstate attack and whatnot. I don't know, I'm quite ambivalent about state-to-state warfare and what they do and how much of it should be spoken about and how much should be revealed and in the public domain. But there has been a release of documents by WikiLeaks. For anybody who's interested in that, sort of like ping me a note. I can send you the link to where you can go and find out exactly what the CIA did, how they did it, and possibly in the great scheme of geopolitics, why they did it. What else is here? 85% of smart TVs can be hacked remotely using broadcasting signals. That's a bit creepy. I've got a smart TV. It just kind of, it's a bit worrying, sort of, you know, the way I've connected it to the internet, sort of like I do have a firewall on it, I do have antivirus on it. It is password protected, the password is encrypted, so I'd like to think that I'm fairly safe, but I'm going to get into the details of this particular article and come right back at you with some more information about that. If you don't have any questions, I'm going to have to leave it here, guys. I've been here for a bit. I think I've been here long enough with my main stories and points of interest for this week. So until next week, I'd like to wish you a really good evening. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful evening this evening. The best bits of tonight's broadcast will be published tomorrow morning, so you'll be able to see sort of like the best bits in other places, and obviously in the next few minutes, once I'm finished, you'll be able to see the replay here. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for swinging past. Good night.